Hi, I am Dr. JP Silvera from TaylorMade Health and Wellness, and last week a patient walked into our clinic that I haven't stopped thinking about. She had been in a rear end collision 3 days earlier. The day it happened, she felt completely fine. No pain, no stiffness, nothing that made her think she needed to see anyone. By day 2, her neck was stiff. By day 3, she couldn't turn her head to check her blind spot while driving. And the whole time, her attorney had been telling her to get checked, and she kept waiting because she felt okay at first and she wasn't sure she actually needed to come in. Here's what I want you to understand before anything else. That is one of the most common things we see after motor vehicle accidents. And it is one of the most dangerous assumptions an accident victim can make. Whiplash and soft tissue injuries do not always announce themselves at the scene. When your car gets hit, your body releases adrenaline, a lot of it, fast. That adrenaline is a survival mechanism. It temporarily masks pain signals. It keeps you calm and functional in a crisis. And it can suppress the real physical damage your spine and soft tissue just absorbed for anywhere from 24 to 72 hours after the impact, sometimes longer. By the time the adrenaline clears and you actually feel what happened to your body, time has already passed. The inflammation has already begun. The damage is real whether you felt it on day 1 or not. Feeling okay after an accident does not mean nothing happened to you. It means your body was doing exactly what it's designed to do under acute stress. Now, here's why this matters beyond just your health, because there are two tracks running at the same time after a collision. And most people only think about one of them. Track 1 is your body. Getting a thorough clinical evaluation early creates an accurate record of your injury, what it was, when the symptoms appeared, how the damage presents on exam. That clinical timeline matters for your recovery. It tells us what we're actually treating and lets us build a care plan that addresses the real problem instead of guessing. Track 2 is your case. If you're working with a personal injury attorney, and if you were in an accident that wasn't your fault, you probably should be, that same clinical record becomes documentation. It connects your symptoms to the accident. It establishes a timeline that supports your attorney's work. And a gap between the date of the crash and the date you first sought care is something that opposing insurance adjusters will absolutely use against you. That gap says, in their framing, that you weren't hurt badly enough to get checked right away. Even if the real reason you waited is the same reason my patient last week waited. You felt fine at first and you didn't know what you didn't know. This is one of the core reasons the relationship between chiropractors and personal injury attorneys matters so much. A good attorney understands the clinical side well enough to guide their clients toward early evaluation. A good clinic understands the legal side well enough to document thoroughly, communicate clearly, and keep the patient as the priority throughout. When those two work well together, the patient gets better care and a better outcome on both tracks. Let me be direct about what to look for in a clinic if you or someone you know has been in an accident. First, you want a thorough first exam before anyone puts a treatment plan in front of you. Not a 5-minute scan and a signature on a form. An actual evaluation that tells you what is injured, how severely, and what the recommended course of care looks like, and why. Second, you want plain language explanations. You should leave that first appointment understanding what happened to your body and what the plan is to fix it. If you leave confused, that's a problem. Third, and this is important, you want a provider who is honest about scope. Chiropractic care is highly effective for the soft tissue and spinal injuries that are most common in motor vehicle accidents: cervical strain, lumbar involvement, disc issues. But if there's something outside that scope, you want a provider who tells you that and coordinates with the right specialist rather than pretending everything falls within their lane. And fourth, in a personal injury context, you want billing handled between the clinic and the insurer, not something you're chasing yourself while you're trying to recover. If you're in Florida, there is something specific you need to know about your coverage. Florida is a no-fault state, which means your own insurance includes personal injury protection, so PIP. That coverage pays up to $10,000 in medical costs after a crash, regardless of who caused the accident.